Okay, let's talk about this Nellyville album. You was featured on a few of them songs on that album, but like that Monster, that Air Force One joint, you know, that one went up out of here. Like, how did that record come about for y'all? Was y'all just that much into the sneakers?
Yeah, we switched over from, what was we wearing? K-Swiss and classic Reeboks. See, like, that's a classic shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got all white something that goes with your stuff. Like, that was the Uptowns. And when we was in New York, that's all they was thinking about at the time. You know, I was a hooper, so I had on a lot of Penny Hardaways and things of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? But Forces was like the white shoe replacement. So we used to wear classic Reeboks. White with just the green on the side, get it out the polo section for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
that go with our Dockers and our polo that we would wear. You know what I'm saying? Like something clean and boom, or K-Swiss. K-Swiss was the cleanest thing ever until the jeans start coming off on the white. But Air Force Ones kicked in and that's all we wore. So when you wore an all white shoe, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Back then they only had white and black for real. They ain't had nothing. They might have had a white one with a black Nike sign or something. But we wore the all white ones, and it was definitely a New York thing, an uptown thing, because St. Louis wasn't big on them. You had some people with money in St. Louis that might, you know, venture out and get them things, but for the most part, it was an East Coast New York thing. There's a few places other that wore it, but we just started wearing them hella. Like, so that whole year of Country Grammar, Free City, and all that, we was wearing them. It just is what it was. When I needed all whites, I'm wearing those Jones. And eventually, I guess that's what led to that song, you know.
You know, I know that was a New York thing, 100%. Like, that's what we was wearing from day one. So when y'all dropped that record, I didn't know if y'all just loved the sneaker or did Nike cut a check for it? Did y'all have a deal in the midst where y'all was gonna have y'all own, you know, version of A1s?
We had everybody had their own version of A1s. We had our own version. We had a dirty version. But before we did the song, no, we just wore 'em and we're just making dope songs. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it became almost a commercial for them, you know? So no, we didn't do business before we made the song, you know what I'm saying? We got some business done afterwards, more so, you know, tour help and different things of that nature. Nothing huge like we should have, you know, being grown now and I see. But yeah, they played a little part. They wouldn't play the song on a lot of stations because of it sounded like commercial. So they wanted Nike to pay, you know, like MTV and different things like that. They wanted them to pay. They could. So actually the song could have been even bigger. You know, it got held back a little bit, and it was huge. And it still got held back.
It went number 3 on Billboard, so it was a huge record.
It was a huge record. It could have went number 1. They held it back because it sounded like a Nike commercial.
Yeah, Nike needed to really cut y'all a real check. Like, it's nice to get tour support, but I think I'm gonna keep it 100. We been wearing Air Force Ones. The price of the brick went up when y'all dropped that record. It went from like $60, $80 a pair of sneakers to over $100 once that song took off. So
not only that, I know the price changed, but I think it was more so my fault with the telling the word 2 pair. Like, I mean, get 2, don't even get 1. And my thing, I said 2 pair, you know, like I've been said that line on the Free City album, but I only said it because they were so easy to get dirty that you better have a spare somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we
that leather
Joners.
Crinkle up in the front.
We was big Joners and big, you know, I guess some people call it roasting. We call it Joning in St. Louis. Some people call it roasting or whatever. We
snapping.
We huge on snapping. Texas, that's what our whole bus, that's our whole life, right? Let that thing have some wrinkles or something, man. Hey man, you better protect yourself. So we literally tried to keep 2 pair always.
Yo, for a minute, it seemed like you was on every feature in the book. Like every time a crazy joint drop, you was on it. One of my favorites is and shout to my boy Jermaine Dupree. Shout to him. But that Welcome to Atlanta, that coast to coast remix he did, bananas. How did you even get on that joint?
I don't know, but I'm sure he tried to get Nelly first. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was a universal thing or something at the time. It was a lot. He had a lot of music out there, and they wasn't trying to go for it. So he asked, could I be on it? And it was perfect person because I don't talk about nothing else but St. Louis. So it was a perfect. I'm a demographic rapper. You know what I'm saying? I love my city so much that I'm always gonna bring up something and relate it to that with similes and so I literally hopped right into that thing. I'm so glad I got on it. I'm so glad Jermaine let me on there, rather.
Nah, that remix was crazy. I mean, and you was on there with the big boys.
That's
I mean,
what I'm
it was
saying.
Puff in New York, Snoop in L.A. But was Ludacris on that joint?
Nah,
I know
Luda on the original.
Luda on the original.
Luda on the original. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't know who was gonna be on there or nothing. He didn't even say. Actually, I shot my part and still didn't hear the song. I only knew my verse. Like I didn't know Puff was before me. I ain't know none of that. I ain't know Snoop was after me. Puff was before me. All I knew was Jermaine was doing the remix and a version, and I thought he was doing a version like me and him. That's a song, and then he'd go somewhere else and do a remix with somebody else for that region or whatever. That's why I thought it was gonna be regional almost. I didn't know he put 4 people on there, you know? Even because we shot the video and it just kept running back the verse. So I didn't even know. I just was, like I said, I was happy to be a
so
part.
y'all never heard it all
I didn't
put
hear it
together.
till the whole video was together, and he ended up sending the song in the video like, oh man. So I never knew I was part. All he was saying, he was trying to do different regions and represent your region when you rap.
You know it was dope too, because Nelly was standing right. Where was y'all in the Cardinal Stadium? When you did your joint, Nelly was right behind you supporting, even though he wasn't on it. But he was right there in the video.
Yeah, no, he never have a problem like that. I never been the one to be like, man, Nelly didn't help me. I'll never be like that. But I'm sure JD played a big part of that. But like I said, at the beginning of our times, it never was a solo project. Nowhere. You feel what I'm saying? It always was just a Tick thing. Because like I said, we came in as the Ticks. We didn't come in as a Nelly. We didn't come in as a Murph. You know what I'm saying? We came in as Lunatics. So even when we got a Nelly project, this is Ticks. This is Tick music. This gonna be a Tick show. This is a Tick life. You feel what I'm saying? Like it never was different. Only thing is that just like in the 60s, you got Gladys Knights and the Pips. You got this and that. They always gonna separate that beginning. You know what I'm saying? And they did that. And once they said Nelly and the St. Lunatics, instead of just saying St. Lunatics, period, and just knowing that Nelly's a part of the Ticks, they separated us. You know what I'm saying? End up putting us forward with this one. And it just always end up looking like that. So it always on flyers and things of that nature, you're gonna see Nelly and the St. Lunatics. Once you do that, ain't no coming back for that. You know, so that's why it always looked like a solo thing. And it just never was. So it was weird. And it become solo till damn near 09, 010. You know?
Which is crazy.